We're back! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of every single age, size, and shape. I don't even know. I was just rolling off the tongue there, Dan. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. Welcome to the CSGO Clutch podcast. Again, my name is Adam Cohn. I am your host, joined by my co-host, Dan Welch. Dan, it's been 7 months, but we're back.
We're back. I love that. Yeah, I'm happy to be back and excited to do another podcast with you, buddy.
Likewise. All right, well, let's get into the elephant in the room. Where have we been? We have been secretly getting ready to take over the planet. I'm kidding. In all seriousness, um, Dan and I have had some stuff in our personal lives that have come up that needed our attention. Um, I also was um, deep into the NFL DFS scene, so that was also taking a lot of my attention as well. So, but there was just a bunch of things going on with Dan and myself that did not allow us to do a podcast on a nightly basis. So we apologize for not being here for 7 months. We are back. And as of right now, Dan and I's plan is to just do podcasts aimed at Tier 1 tournaments. Just the big ones. So your pro leagues, your blasts, your majors, things like that. Again, Dan and I are still trying to figure out, on our own personal time commitments and whatnot. So, Dan, anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I had a baby, man. It was great. I think anybody that is happening to re-listen would know, but yeah. So I've been very busy raising a child, and it's been good. So.
And your wife's been busy raising you too. Oops, did I say that?
Yeah, she'll tell anybody that I am the fourth child.
Well, I've told you before, congratulations, but again, publicly, congratulations on the birth of your new baby. So that's what I meant by personal information. There's personal stuff going on. So Dan was kind of sort of busy, and still is kind of sort of busy. And like I said, I had NFL stuff going on. I had some other personal stuff going on. Nothing bad. Just Dan and I, because we couldn't make the podcast every night work. So we're back at the very least for Pro League. We're happy to be back. We're going to tweak up the format for this first show a little bit differently. We're going to try keeping this to under an hour. That's the goal. Just because this is also going to be the Pro League, ESL Pro League Season 15 preview show as well. We'll start getting into some more stats and stuff as we can, but again, just bear with us as we, get back in the swing of things and try to make this podcast better for all you listeners out there. Dan, anything else you want to add in our housekeeping section over here before we get started into this preview?
No, I think having a more targeted show will help everybody a lot more. So.
Agreed. All right. So also, Dan and I are going to have, at least I want to have, and Dan and I have talked about this off and on now for what feels like a while, just off air, talking about doing some sort of recap show. There's been a lot of news, from Mondesi leaving Nave Jr. to G2. That's not the biggest news. Obviously, kind of goes without saying, and we're going to get into it here in the preview for Pro League. But the war in Ukraine and how that's impacting the entire planet, and specifically how it's going to impact two teams here for Pro League. So we'll get into that. We're going to keep this, Counter-Strike driven. We're going to keep it daily fantasy sports driven, so Draftkings focused as well, as always here on the podcast. But there's there's this stuff we need to talk about because it does impact Pro League. It impacts Counter-Strike as a whole. If any of you watched IEM Katowice 2022, you could very tell it was affecting Navi, was affecting a few of these teams. Simple coming out and having his speech and all that other stuff. So we'll get into that. But there's a lot of other recap stuff that Dan and I want to go over. Right, Dan?
Correct. Sorry, I was muted for a second.
No, you're fine. So we'll try to do a recap show, but this specific Dan, words.
Start over.
Yeah, this specific podcast episode, ladies and gentlemen, is going to focus on previewing ESL Pro League Season 15 and getting into the Day 1 Pro League on DraftKings. So, without any further ado, Mr. Dan, we are going to get into ESL Pro League Season 15 preview. And is there any last minute thoughts you want to share with the folks before we get started?
No, I'm good. Let's just
All right.
hop right into it.
Well, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. I am very excited. We got ESL Pro League Season 15 emanating from Malta. I believe it's from Malta, if I'm not mistaken. Are we confirmed that this is going to be a LAN event? Is this
Yes.
confirmed?
Hmm?
Okay. So, Pro League Season 14 last year was supposed to be from Malta, but this year it actually looks like it's going to be emanating from. I apologize if there's any German fans listening out there if I butcher this horribly.
Düsseldorf.
Dusseldorf. Again, I have no. It looks like it's Dusseldorf, Germany. Again, I apologize for any mispronunciations. I'm going to be switching back and forth here between Liquipedia.net and HLTV.org. So let's get into it. Our broadcast talent, Stunna and Paula, are our desk hosts. Our interview is Heku. Our analysts are YNK, Kassad, Allen, and Maui Snake. So Genko, Kassad, Allen, and Maui. Commentators are the dynamic duo of Sponge and Machine, reunited yet again, and it feels so good to hear them back together again. And Harry and Hugo. Format is kind of similar to ESL Pro League Season 14. 4 single round-robin format groups. Each group has 6 teams. All teams are going to play each other once. All matches are best of 3. The first place team in each group advances to the quarters. Groups second and third advance to the round of 12. That might be where we differed from last time. Semis versus quarters. Now it's quarters versus the round of 12. I think that's the same. Playoffs is a single elimination bracket. All matches, excluding the grand final, are best of 3, and the grand final is a best of 5. So for all you DFS players out there that are listening for Draftkings or Prize Picks, just keep that in mind, that there is no best of 1. Dan, what are your thoughts here on the broadcast talent and the format for Pro League?
I love it. The Sponge and Machine duo, like you said. I'll never forget the
Katie and Clutch
Katie
call? Oh.
Yeah, with Machine. And I thought that was some brilliant stuff. And Just Harry has got to be one of the funniest people or broadcasters out there. And I heard he was going to Valorant, so I'm really glad that he's not. And Hugo just feeds him and encourages him.
Funny. Harry's funny.
He is. And when he gets rolling, it's exciting to see.
Yes. All right. So before we get any further, the CS:GO Clutch podcast is sponsored by PrizePicks. Head over to PrizePicks.com. Sign up using the promo code Clutch. Again, that's promo code Clutch. New depositors get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Check them out at PrizePicks.com. See, Dan, I didn't lose a step there. I didn't lose a step. And I wasn't even reading off any kind of script. Let's go. Back.
Brilliant.
And we're back. All right, prize pool. We would like to thank the winners of first, second, third, and fourth place for donating 1% of their winnings to the Dan and Adam Foundation. I'm kidding. First place gets $175,000 and a spot in the Blast Premier World Final 2022. Second gets $70,000. Third to fourth, $35,000. Fifth to eighth, $17,500. Prize pools and circuit points. We just went over the prizes. Circuit points go like this. First place, ESL Pro Tour points, 1,300. Blast, you get 2,800 points. Second place, 1,000 ESL Pro Tour points, 1,400 Blast points. There are no points outside of 8th place for Blast. So just keep that in mind. Third to fourth, 780 Pro Tour points and 875 Blast. Fifth to eighth, 485 ESL Pro Tour points and 265 Blast points. 9th through 24th are a varying set of ESL Pro Tour points and no Blast points. Dan, let's get into the participants here, unless there's anything you want to go over here in terms of the prize pool and circuit points.
Now let's go.
All right. So for clarifying context, 9th to 12th, 250 ESL Pro Tour points. 13th to 16th, 120 ESL Pro League Pro Tour points. 17th to 20th, 100 ESL Pro Tour points. 21st to 24th, 70 ESL Pro Tour points. All right, it's time to get into the participants. And Dan, I think you and I are going to address the other the big news, the elephant in the room for this event.
Yeah.
Gambit and Virtus Pro have been not banned. Well, they've been banned. They've been banned from competing in ESL Pro League Season 15 because Gambit and Virtus Pro both are Russian organizations.
Yep.
So VP have already come out and said they are not gonna. They are gonna play as the outsiders. So this outsiders you see here is the former Virtus Pro team. Or for the sake of this tournament, we're just calling them outsiders. We are not going to call them Virtus Pro. Gambit have not made a decision yet. There has been no news from Gambit if they are going to play. So just,
yeah, I think it's unfortunate, to be honest.
It is, because you have two of the top 10 teams in the world that are not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is not... For me, this is, ESL and everyone else saying, we stand with Ukraine. What you guys are doing is wrong, and they're doing what they can to, I guess, put their stamp on things as the rest of the world imposes sanctions on Russia and everything else, but, they're just kind of doing what they can. It sucks for the players. Like, none of these players are bad. They're all good people. It just sucks that, they just, right now they're associated with an organization just for being punished for something they didn't even do.
Yep, they have no control over it.
And they're being punished for something, let's put it this way, even more important. They're being punished for something they didn't even condone.
Yeah.
At least I'm going to assume that none of these players are condoning what's happening. I'll keep the optimism there. But again, I'm not these players. I don't know, but they have nothing to do with what's going on. It's what's happening in the world right now. So no Gambit, no VP. VP are playing under what the team is called Outsiders, and there's no word from Gambit as of this podcast recording on March 8th. Dan, is there anything you want to do to address Gambit and what are now being called Outsiders before we get into the rest of the teams?
No. I mean, I
don't mean to have a somber tone, but like, what's going on in the world right now is just somber is putting it very mildly. It's tragic. It's terrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that they shouldn't be punished for something that a crazy man is doing. But I mean, that's, I guess, the organizers had to take a stand. So,
and again, I don't blame them.
I get it.
I mean, I've tweeted at Simple and Bit. I never heard back from them, but just like showing support. Like, okay, are you okay? Are your families okay? Were they able to get out? At least that's what I think I asked. Is Simple and Bit are Ukrainian, and again, the top Counter-Strike player in the world is from Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is what it is. It sucks to see what's happening in the world right now. I mean, again, if you were watching, I am Katowice 2022, like I said earlier, Na'Vi were affected. You could tell when they were playing G2. They weren't Na'Vi.
Yeah, something was up. I mean, I think it was Simple, to be honest with you. But his speech was brilliant. I thought that was...
I only got a chance to watch some of that, but, like, I was listening to HLTV Confirmed, and I guess it really, like, it rocked Sponge, and just, like, hearing him talk like that. I mean, like, these aren't bad kids. Like, you can't associate what's going on with these players.
Right.
You can't. So, all right, but that's that. So that I don't want to keep us on a somber tone. Let's switch us over to some more positive vibes here.
Okay.
The teams, very quickly, I'm just going to run through them. Astralis, Big, Complexity, Ents, EG, FaZe, Fnatic, Furia, G2, Mouse, Na'Vi, Nip, Team Liquid, Team Vitality, possibly Gambit under a different name, Heroic, Outsiders, Entropic, AGO, or Go, Party Astronauts, we'll talk about them, Looking for Org, Movie Star Riders, Godsent, and Sprout. With that being said, we're going to get right into the draft here. We're going to get into the groups here, and then we'll go right into DraftKings. Group A, G2, Nip, Entropic, Fnatic, Mouse, and Looking for Org. Oh, Dan, doesn't this remind you of a certain Group A that had a certain Australian team as well in it that didn't do much of anything from, 2 seasons ago?
They did take a
They
map
took
off
a
of
map
Navi.
off Mouse. Okay,
No,
whatever.
Navi.
Was it Navi or
And then
Mouse? Navi was
Navi,
Group
and
D,
then
I think. Weren't they?
are you talking about the Renegades?
Yeah, I'm talking about Renegades taking like only one map in that entire tournament.
Yeah, it was against Navi. I'm dead. Because I lost $5,000 because
So you remember.
simple then took over and he went like 60-10 in the next two maps.
Jeez.
It was insane.
Well, regardless, with all due respect to Looking for Org, who Dan informed me prior to the podcast starting he thinks is the former Order team from Australia, I would be surprised if they won a match.
I mean, yeah, they're probably dust. But there's other issues too within this group. So
yeah, I mean, like G2 should win this group outright, especially with the way frickin' Monacy's been playing.
yeah, but they're missing Alexi B, and Amanek is the
temporary sub. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
You'll have someone else. Nico's could probably IGL. Maybe you get a little bit more about Exitaz. Not IGLing because he's the coach, but giving some basic strats, and I'm not too concerned about G2 at all. Alexi B will return. He tested positive for COVID-19 and is not with the team right now. Will rejoin the team as soon as he is cleared. Nip, big news with them. And again, Dan and I will get into this all in a recap show later on during Pro League. Making a bid for Brolan. Or seemingly possibly making a bid to get Brolan on Nip. I would assume he's replacing Plopsky. We do not know what's happening with Device. Device still not back with this team yet. Fozy is still with this team that's replacing him. And Tropic, I think, is very interesting for this group. Fnatic, now with the addition of Regali. And Pepsor?
I don't know.
Then you have the new looking Mouse Sports with Torzy the frickin' goat.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what BMAS does with this team. JDC looked frickin' great at Katowice.
Mm-hmm.
So, alright. That's Group A. Group B, Team Vitality, Outsiders, FaZe Clan, Furia, Ents, and Sprout. Group C is Gambit, maybe. Team Liquid, Godsent, Big, Movie Star Riders, and the Party Astronauts. But I said we'll talk about Party Astronauts. I think they got a good chance of making the playoffs. Party Astronauts, basically 3 members of the former New England Whalers, Ponalone, Ben Lee, DJ, also being joined by Jonji and PTR.
Love Jonji.
Group D, and yes, Jonji, I believe, from the former Chaos Esports Club as well.
Yes. I think he played for Bad News Bears too. But...
Maybe, yeah. All right, in Group D, another heavy hitter group: Na'Vi, Heroic, Astralis, Complexity, EG, and a Go. Kind of, sort of, Na'Vi and Heroic should move on. It's just a matter of who gets the third spot. So, as everyone knows, I am a Heroic fan, so I'm not happy we're in the group with Na'Vi, but at least we have a chance to show what we got against Na'Vi.
I'm sorry, Adam. I might have missed some. So Navi's not impacted by what's going on, or
they are impacted? I mean, again, how could you not watch Katowice and realize that they were not 100? They would not have their heads in the game. In my opinion.
No. I mean, I thought they were a Russian org, but they're not.
I'm not sure, but I have no idea. ESL did not ban Na'Vi. The only
Really?
bans. So here's the
That's
article if
interesting.
you all are interested in reading Striker's article from February 3rd. ESL Pro. I'm sorry, March 3rd. March 2nd. Sorry, the dates are different. ESL Pro League bans, quote, organizations with ties to Russian government and, end quote, from upcoming season.
Huh.
Teams hailing from the organizations affected will be allowed to compete in the tournament under a neutral name. This includes Virtus Pro and Gambit. So this is part of the article. ESL has stated that it currently identified two entities who will be banned from being represented, Virtus Pro and Gambit. The former side falls under the ownership of Sogaz Insurance Group, who are among the companies targeted by various anti-Russia sanctions, while the latter is owned by Russia's Mobile Telecoms Network, MTS.
Gotcha. So it's
It seems
political
like
for
it
sure.
has something to do with just the Russian government.
Hmm. I get it.
So it looks like Navi is not going to be affected in terms of being banned, but again, if you're a Navi, again, like, I don't know. I would just think, like, this is definitely affecting them, whether their heads are going to be in the game or not. I would have to assume they're probably not going to be 100% in the game.
Yeah, but I don't think we should take too much away from FaZe. I mean, I think that might have been the kind of the well, obviously they lost him, but
Well, they lost to
maybe
G2.
and they lost to G2. Yeah.
FaZe were the better team throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
But
Wait, am I confused? I thought they lost to FaZe.
no. FaZe beat Heroic. G2 beat Navi.
Yeah.
And
Go
again,
figure.
this was back in Katowice. I didn't get a chance to watch the grand final. I need to go back and watch it because apparently there were like a ton of overtimes.
There were. So that match was a lot closer than the results appear.
Right, and again, like this just goes to show that G2 and FaZe are in a spot where they're ready to compete for a major title, and we have now two dominant, strong teams to add to the likes of Heroic, Team Vitality, yeah, and Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we now have a legitimate strong tier of teams. Like, Navi's to the top, Heroic's up there at the top. So I put G2 into Heroic in terms of teams, then FaZe, and then Gambit. But, like, it's nice that there's a heavy hitting group of players. Very nice. A heavy hitting group of teams. And it's not just Navi dominating everyone, it's now Navi in the same tier, or maybe even just a slightly higher tier than Heroic and G2 and FaZe and Gambit. There's more that are now vying for that spot. The PGL Antwerp Major is going to be very interesting. That's for sure.
Agreed.
All right. What do you say we get into the DraftKings analysis?
Let's go.
All right. Follow us on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod, at AdamWX21, and at Juan Delch, WANDELCH. Here we go.
Thank you.
DraftKings, you are welcome. Here we go. $2,000 to first place. Come on, DraftKings. We need like $10,000 to first place here.
A little weak.
It's all right. It's all right. It's also, what is it? It's starting on a Thursday. You've also got PGA back as well.
Hey,
So
tomorrow's Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday. Sorry, my bad.
Sorry, I'm not trying to correct you.
No, you're fine. Again, Dan pinged me like, "Hey, you ready for the podcast?" I'm like, sure." And I thought, I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't start. EPL doesn't start till Thursday. And then I'm doing my research, and I'm like, oh, it's tomorrow. Whoopsie. Dan and I were going to do a recap show, and then I'm like, oh, well, if it starts tomorrow, we probably should, do something
Go all
along
in.
the lines of, for EPL. So, anyway, game one, looking for Org and G2. Do we really need to analyze this game?
I think the only only nugget of experience that I have with games like this is it's usually better to
Not play three
captain.
players.
Um, well, I think you can, but it's hard because they're so expensive. But just not captain them because they typically have a much lower ceiling, as well as like three guys will typically score a similar
Yeah.
ceiling. So it's and then the two two underperformers don't actually score that well.
I mean, for me, I prefer um, what do you call it? I'd prefer to take two players from this game
Yeah,
because
yeah, for sure.
let's just say Nico and Hunter go off, and Mondesi, Alexi B, and Almanek do nothing. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Mondesi, Almanek, and Jax. Again, no Alexi B in this game because he tested positive for COVID-19. If they do nothing, they're not getting anywhere near their price tags.
Right.
So,
I kind of like Jax. He's been
hey,
pretty hot lately.
he has, hey, 6,400. I would not mind taking some shots on Jax here. I'm not playing anyone from looking for org.
Only in GPPs, and then I would only do it if I had more than like 20 entries.
Yeah, super large scale
More than
GPPs.
20.
Yeah. So I agree. Anything 20 max and above, I'd take some shots, but G2 should put this away rather quickly. Sorry, looking for
Yeah.
org. Anything else you want to talk about? That's nothing to analyze. All 5 members of G2 are firmly in play.
Yeah, I think just limiting the number of G2 players. I
That's
mean,
fair.
it's and how do you get different? It's like
Almanac
I
and
don't know.
Jax.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
again,
Omnec's good,
what's their ceiling?
not too high.
So, all right, so that is that. Let's get on to some of the more interesting games for DFS purposes.
Yeah,
It's Mouse Sports versus Entropic.
I think this is my favorite.
I'm looking forward to this game. So, just for context, I'm going to refresh the page here, but the Pinnacle betting odds for this game, just again to put this whole thing into context, G2 is favored by 3,607. They went up from 3,606. Just again, putting this in context of who Pinnacle thinks is going to win. Entropic and Mouse. Entropic's a plus 150 underdog. Mouse a minus 183 favorite. I think we're going to find some leverage in this game for sure. And
Yeah,
then to find even more leverage, Nip are a minus 231 favorite. Frauds. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Versus Fnatic. Fnatic a plus 186 underdog.
Fnatic's in trouble though. I mean, well, not maybe not in trouble like per se, but I mean, they've just torn apart their team. They like poured some gasoline on their CS:GO division and lit a match. I mean, I get the whole Smooya benching thing just because I know that.
I don't.
Well, I mean, he can be a bit of a head case. So, but and again, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but it had to have been. I don't think it was performance related, but maybe it was.
I don't think it was performance related either.
I mean, he's good. He's really freaking good. Like,
And he's
um,
shown it. He'll get a chance with some other team. He will get a chance. And it stinks because I'm a Smooya fan. Smooya
yeah,
on HLTV confirmed is fire. It is.
yeah. Maybe that's
It's such entertainment. He is such a pleasure to listen to. I don't know what he's like as a teammate, but he is definitely interesting to listen to.
I did hear one take that he had, and he's like, "Yeah, with Fnatic, I stopped being selfish, and there might be a situation where I would bait somebody, and I just stopped doing that. So now I'm not, my individual scores or stats aren't looking as good as they used to. But I'm trying to be more of a teammate." And then I hear that he gets benched. I'm like, "What? That's something here doesn't add up." Like,
Yeah. Well,
even he's
yeah, and he came out too and said like, don't be mad at Regali for taking my spot. It's not his fault. So folks, don't be mad at Regali. But anyway, with this roster right now, we'll get into Fnatic in the next match. We have Mouse Sports versus Entropic. Again, I've already gone over the betting lines. And for context again, Entropic a plus 150 underdog, and Mouse are a minus 183 favorite. Dan, I think this is where we're going to have some amazing DFS Vegas value right here. Let's go over the Mouse Sports side, and then I'll tell you why I like Entropic in this matchup. I mean, Torsy's 9,000, Frozen 7,800. I can't believe I'm saying this live on air. NBK 6,800. Dan and I will go on this recap show. Of any free agent out there! Of any free agent! They signed NBK. I don't get it. Look, I'm not.
Natural born killer, Nate.
I'm not bashing the guy. He's a great Counter-Strike player. But JKS is out there! And you picked up NBK!
Natural born killer.
Hey, Mouse, did you see what JKS did as a stand-in for FaZe?
It's pretty incredible.
Thumbs up, dude. I don't know what Mouse is doing. It also could have been a money thing. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
It could have
been. Or FaZe wanted him more.
Well, JKS is still with complexity. Maybe it's a money thing. Maybe they can't buy JKS out right now. Maybe NBK just wanted a chance to prove himself. I have no idea. So NBK, I mean, I'm happy for him. He's looked okay. Like he hasn't been the team vitality NBK. So,
right.
BMass 6,200. Dexter 5,400.
Love it.
I haven't played a lot of Counter-Strike in the last 7 months in terms of DFS related. Did I miss something on the Dexter still at sub 6,000?
No, I think it's just his IGL role. He doesn't have a huge ceiling.
I disagree.
Look, can we look at his recent DK point?
We've only got a couple from Katowice. Vitality, OG, and NIP, so we're going to go in that order. 45 points, 39 points, 37 points.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's fair. Stinks.
Still like it.
I still think he has a ceiling, but $5,400 as a way to get different, I think is definitely something to be interested on. Now, here's the interesting one is BMass. It's not JDC. It's BMass. He's back. I believe BMass tested positive for COVID-19, and that's why he wasn't part of Katowice. I think that was the case. So BMass is back. He's 6,200. We know BMass has skill.
Mad skill, man.
I'm skeptical. I'd still prefer to play BMass to NBK. I just don't know if BMass has a ceiling. And if it's a ceiling, how high is the ceiling?
Well, let's think about the recent changes. I mean, I don't know that there's any data or even anecdotal information on whether or not COVID-19 actually affects esports players when they come back. And we don't necessarily even know how sick he was, but so Rops is no longer there. I mean, I'm sure he's taking some of Rops' old spots, and well, I'm sure Frozen would be too, but I just feel like without Rops there, and he's got a bigger ceiling because Rops is not there.
Yeah, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'd still like him third on this team. I will still play BMass for sure. Here's the issue. We haven't seen him on this team with MBK a lot, I don't think, or at any official capacity. We need to see how this is going to affect the team. I think BMass is a great role player. I don't think he's like the superstar fragger. That's a Frozen, that's a Rops. But BMass is just like...
I disagree.
He's an amazing... Not like support in the way like support is for Counter-Strike, like the role. He's a great floor play. That's my own personal opinion. You are more than welcome to disagree.
I do. Bemis is 18 years old. He was playing for Mousesports when he was in high school, and FaZe when he was in high school. So he has been. I mean, he's been active for in Tier One CS:GO for how long? I don't know, a year and a half maybe.
Yeah, but he's not a superstar rifle yet.
But he's been behind Nico and Rops.
And
So
Frozen.
yeah, I mean, Frozen obviously has a huge ceiling, uh, and could do that with Rops on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think that Bemis is going to step into that some of those Rops positions.
$6,200. Take your shots. Um,
Yeah,
Frozen at $7,800 is probably one of the biggest misprices on this entire slate.
he's very
Frozen
volatile
minus
though.
Rops equals mega ceiling.
He's very volatile though. Or like
Would you
let's
want
look at
any
his.
other kind of volatility for a large field GPP to win $2,000?
If I thought no one was going to play Frozen, then yeah. But I think that
But you still need that on your roster. I feel like if he goes off and goes 50 and 20, you're gonna need Frozen.
well, yeah, obviously. Um,
He has that ceiling.
yeah, so you'd be. I mean, basically for Frozen, I would be saying, okay, then I got to hope that he doesn't do well. Which could happen or does
Oh,
happen.
absolutely could happen, especially once we get into my entropic takes. Torzi, our boy,
I like Torzy.
$9,000.
Torzy actually responded to me on Twitter. It was cool.
Oh boy, that
Well, I congratulated him for getting called up, and I think I got like a thumbs up or something. But
awesome. So Frozen and Torzi are my top two. They're like a 1A, 1B with this team right now. Just a matter of how you want to play and who you can fit. I'd go Frozen just on the salary savings over Torzi, but like I said, they're so tight. I'd probably pick Torzi 1, even though he lands opposite him. It's fine. Torzi, Frozen, B-Mass, NBK, Dexter in that order. Would you agree?
um, I think I would put BMS ahead of Mr. Frozen, just because I don't think that he will be as heavily owned.
Yeah, but that's a
Um,
hot take.
hmm?
That's a hot take considering we know Frozen's ceiling. I like it. It's just hot takey.
Yeah, I think that you know Frozen's going to be super high owned at that price,
It's fair.
and they're the favorite. So we're dealing with now people that are only playing off
Mm-hmm.
of money lines. So I mean I think Frozen's going to be mega chalky,
For sure.
unless well maybe not mega chalky, but chalky enough where you could be duplicated for sure.
Oh, of course. So,
Yeah, I think I would. I like Bemis more.
are you ready to talk about some of the biggest leverage on this entire slate and Entropic?
Are they though? I
Yes.
mean,
They're a plus 150 underdog. Mouse are being way overly favorited. Entropic have been together longer. They have more teamwork than this new Mouse Sports team does. Elan 8,200, Forrester 7,000, Crad 6,200, Lackey 5,600, and Nickelback is $4,800.
so one of the bullet points on HLTV that I liked was that they're really Entropic's been losing some matches that they should not lose. So
Correct.
they lost.
That I
They
agree.
lost.
I agree with that.
They lost to Ents. They lost to Blue Jays. Mouse. Actually, with that.
I
Maps
think
they played.
Entropic need to replace Crad, but with who? And that's the only thing. Like, if you can get another superstar to play along Elan, I think that unlocks a lot for this roster. This roster has potential. I just don't think they're a major winner just yet.
Oh no, definitely not.
So,
I mean, yeah, Forrester's got potential. I
agreed.
think he was supposed to go to Navi. I don't know what happened, but and Nickelback. I mean, even though he's kind of odd person, I mean, he does pop off.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, like, all five of these members are in play. Like, if I had to rank them, I'm building around Elan, then Forrester, I'd take a shot on Crad, but I'd probably go Lackey over Crad. Nickelback. Like, I think everyone's in play. I just not high on Crad right now. I'd go Lackey over Crad, and then if you want even more high up there, then you go Nickelback and then Crad last.
I think Crad's been performing a little bit better recently, like over Forrester,
Yeah, and again,
which
that's fine. The main three of this team are Elan, Forrester, and Crad. They're gonna
yeah,
need Crad's gonna need to do well if Tropic want to win.
yeah.
But
I mean, they can win.
I can also see this being a Nickelback blow up game too. Like him having an insane ceiling. Even if he gets 50 points at $4,800, he's out hit his value.
His ceiling is 100 points.
Oh yes, we know this. This is this is well documented
Uh,
when he pissed us off Sorry, he didn't piss us off last year. I'm sorry, Nickelback. He had these really random ceiling games, and we're like, what? Huh?
yeah.
Really?
I'll, yeah, I'll never forget him running in with a P250. I think it was like maybe an eco round on Mirage connector, gets flashed in and just kills everybody with his little P250.
It's crazy.
I was done
All
after that.
right. Anything else from this match you want to talk about?
Um, nah, nothing crazy. I mean, I think I don't know. It's hard to say that either one will be higher owned, but I think that just the odds will push ownership to Mouse Sports. Um,
I would play Entropic for leverage
yeah, I think that's a good spot, and because if
Entropic has
people
a
play,
great chance to win this match.
yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to look and see if they had bad runs before other tournaments because I had a little theory, like a harebrained theory, where some teams are focusing on the big tournaments like the pro leagues or the IEMs, and then these other tournaments, the littler ones that they end up not doing well, is actually not representative
Well,
of
you and I talked about that last year, Dan. We talked about this, and we were dealing with Big in the Pinnacle series,
yeah.
and like they were losing matches they shouldn't have. And I think I made the point of, well, what if they're just testing out their strats? Some strats have been working in practice and officials.
Yep. I think there's some truth to it. I mean, we could be uh, confirming our own bias, but I'm gonna look while we're still going to see if before bigger tournaments if Entropic didn't perform well.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a great play because you got G2, you know, heavy ownership, possibly Nip with some heavy ownership, and
Yep.
then that leaves you to pick between Mouse
All
and.
right. All right. All right. Let's calm down on the heavy Nip ownership. We'll get into the frauds in a second.
They're gonna be number one in the world, Adam. It's still gonna happen.
Don't piss me off, Dan. Um, as people know, I am not a Nip fan. Um, I don't understand the hype around this team. They have one good player, one okay player.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
We'll get into it. Anything else from Mouse on topic before I start going off with the frauds?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's get into it. The frauds take on Fnatic. I mean, the Ninjas in Pajamas take on Fnatic. All right. So let me go into this before I start getting, people who are Nip fans be like, what are you talking about? All right. Device has nothing to do with this team right now. He's taking time away. He needs to take care of himself. I'm 100% on board with that. Your best player in the world is Hampus. I still don't fully believe that. I mean, his stats have been proving it. He's been showing it. He's a good player. He's a great player. He's becoming a better player. Hampus is the best player on this team right now, followed by Rez. Plopsky's been garbage. Fozy's coming in from the Young Ninjas. Esatag is doing Esatag-like things. He's non-Astralis Esatag. Great role player. Nip have made an offer, supposedly, to buy Broland from Fnatic. If Nip buy Broland from Fnatic and he replaces Plopsky, this team looks a lot better. I'm sorry. Plopsky, for whatever reason, is not hitting the ceiling that this kid did in 2020. When he looked like a freaking superstar. This team looks like it's in disarray. This team doesn't feel like a winning team. I don't understand why they're ranked as high as they are. I think they're frauds. I'm
They find
sorry.
ways to win. They just find ways to win consistently, and then they lose consistently. They're infuriating for DFS because it's every other match is like you just don't know what's going to happen with them.
I mean, like I said, Hampus is the ace of the team right now. That's saying a lot. If they get Brolette on this team,
No, I disagree. I think Rez has to be. That Hampus just picks up some slack
Rez
when he can.
should be. Well, it should be Device, but again, Device taking time away, which I understand. Um, but like, so let's get into it. Rez is 9,600, Hampus is 8,800, Plopsky is 7,600, Fozy is 6,600, and Esatag is $5,800. Rez is overpriced. Hampus is overpriced. Plopsky is way overpriced. If the ownership on these guys are going to be high, I'd fade them. Well, not fade them, I go underweight. I do think Rez, Hampus, and Plopsky have a high chance to be the winning three from NIP on this slate. It's Fnatic that are in a little bit of their own disarray. But from I'm not talking about NIP being frauds from a DFS standpoint. I'm talking about them from their roster and how they play right now is confusing. I don't think they're as good on paper as they've been playing. Plopsky's not played anywhere near it, and these are just my opinions. I like these players. I just don't understand what this team is doing. So that's all. I'm not.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the players. I just don't understand what this team is doing. I don't.
You and me both, buddy. I don't think anybody really does.
So anyway, again, I'm coming out and saying it right now. I do think Rez, Hampus, and Plopsky are probably the winning three from NIP on this roster for this slate.
I like some.
As much as I joke with NIP that they're frauds, again, it's just from you're ranked high and your best player is Hampus. No disrespect to Hampus, but when Device was signed, we should be saying Device is the best player on this team. We should be saying Rez is the best rifler on this team. When Threat was on HLTV confirmed, and he said, "Who do you think that?" I think was asked, "Who do you think the best Swedish player in the world is right now?" He said Hampus. Hampus has shown it. So Hampus is getting better. So Hampus has earned more respect for sure. But I just feel like the combination of Rez and Hampus, they're nowhere near, I think, what those two could be as a dynamic duo. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Rez seems I don't know what the right, maybe uninterested or just
Disinterested?
he's not really in it. I don't know why I think that, but that's just my impression from seeing him in interviews and
if Rez and Hampus can continue to play well and play at the level they both can, we're talking about one of the best 1-2 punches in all of Counter-Strike.
Now that's a hot take. I mean, they are good.
But they can be that good because we've seen individually how great they can be.
Yeah, you got a point.
You add a revitalized Device to that lineup. You add a Broland to that lineup. Now we're talking top 5 team.
So, I mean, is that what you think that maybe if Brolin comes back, then Device steps back in and
yes,
number 1 in the world?
For the same reason that I've heard some analysts joking about Ben Simmons for the NBA. He's gonna magically be able to play once they get by the Philly game. He's like, I'm ready to play now. I'm not even getting into that. But no, again, as much as I just poo-poo this current NIP roster, I just think they're nowhere near the potential. I think they're ranked higher than what they're currently playing at. But if Rez and Hampus, if Rez and Hampus can play at their great potential, You add in a Broland to this team. You add Device back in, and then S-Attack just being a complimentary role player. That's a top 5 team. That's a major title winner challenging team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just because of their playstyle. So
Let's see, I'm just looking to see if any of the Nip boys have been grinding it out on. Do you ever go to Face It? Yeah.
I sometimes play on Face It, not that often.
Oh, is this old? Oh, and then I have another harebrained theory. Yeah, so Rez just played recently. He's been one match, but so when a player is on their way out, maybe out of an org, that they set that player up to look really good so that they can sell him for more.
It's
So
interesting.
yeah, I don't have any proof really. I mean, it could just be like I said, harebrained, but
Yeah. Well,
potential narrative.
yeah, but let's get into the DFS side of things. Like I said, Rez Hippus Plopsky are my favorite. Fozy and S-Attack I take shots on, but Plopsky third. But I think Rez and Hampus could crush in this game.
Yeah, sure.
And I
Um,
and I think Plopsky might have lower ownership at that high price tag, and I'd play him.
hmm
Like there's a chance like I mean this isn't something I'm probably gonna do, but like if I were to do this, and this, let's just say I think that's an interesting lineup. And we put in, let's see, another. Let's just say I put in Lackey. You know, probably would not. I don't know if I'd go there, but like, okay, Lackey's there. Can add in, and I don't know what Crims can add in whoever, right? Like even if you want to switch that out, or you want to go S attack. Oh, now I got 7900. Now I can get a Frozen. I can get an Almanac. I can get a Jax. Right? Like I think that's something that's interesting. 2 Entropic, 3 Nip, a G2. I think is interesting. So anyway, Nip side of things. Talk to me before we get to Fnatic.
I'm in agreement.
So
Yeah.
you think play the main 3 riflers and then sprinkles of Fozy and S-Tag.
Not a huge Fozy supporter, but yeah, I mean maybe.
And for
It
those
just
that don't
doesn't.
know, Fozy's their opper.
Yeah, even though he's the upper,
You know.
it just hasn't really performed. Um, I guess, but
All right. Anything else, Mr. Dan?
I actually like Fnatic. I think they'll be under own, and this is for strictly for DFS purposes. But
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk
they're gonna
about it.
be
Regali, their
yeah.
opper replacing Samuya, 7,400. Mezzi, 6,600. Pepzor, 6,000. Crims is way underpriced at 5,200. And Alex the IGL, 4,600. I don't mind taking some shots on Fnatic here.
Yeah. Um, and just it looks like they'll probably do a little Inferno and Overpass. Um, Yep, are not awesome on Inferno, and Overpass is good for Oppers.
Yes, it is. I
So
do enjoy playing Overpass myself.
in the last 3 months, Mezzi has a 1.39 rating on Inferno and Overpass. So I like
Mezzi's been
Mezzi.
popping off lately. I think Mezzi at $6,600 is a little underpriced, don't you?
Yeah, I'd probably do maybe 5 out of 20 with Mezzi.
Mm. Well, there you go. I like Mezzi 1, Regali 2, Crims 3, Pepzor 4, Alex 5. You can even make the case Regali 1, Mezzi 2, but I think Mezzi's got a higher ceiling, and we haven't seen Regali on this team yet on an official. So I'd go Mezzi, Regali, Crims, Pepzor, and Alex.
Yep, I agree.
All right, let's get into it. Core value, GPP, and favorite stack segment. I'm sorry, team stack. Favorite team stack segment. Got to make the switch back from NFL. All right, core. Do you have one?
Mm, it's actually kind of tough. Um, but I think I'm going to go with the Mouse Sports Frozen and Bemis.
I like it. As much shit as I just gave Nip, Rez and Hampus would be my core.
Yeah, I'm there.
I would
It
also
would.
tie that in with my favorite team stack.
Hmm,
All right,
yeah.
value plays. Now that we're returning Dan, gonna throw a little curveball at you. Value plays is gonna be anything under. Let's try under 7,000.
Under 7?
Under 7.
Or oh my god. Aztec.
Okay, give me one more.
Uh, hmm. I mean, Nickelback. Or actually, I think I like Crims.
Got it.
Just
Mine
because it
would
says.
be Jacks and Crims. GPP plays. Give me two.
Regali, and Sterling.
Nice calls.
Not
Sterling
much on
from
Sterling,
looking
though.
for yeah. Sterling from looking for. Well, that's why these are GPP plays.
Yeah.
For me, Mondesi, Regali.
So you think Mossy will be low owned?
I just think he's a good GPP play. I think Nico and Hampus could crush. But I think we can't ignore how good Mondesi's looked.
It's very difficult to have Nico and Mossy in the same lineup.
Yes.
Um,
All right.
Not very difficult, but somewhat difficult.
Then I already said my favorite team stack is Nip. Starting out with realistically, Rez and Hampus. Who's your favorite team stack? Not specific players. Favorite team stack.
G2.
Excellent. Well, let's get into it.
Non-cap.
A little rusty here. Prize picks. It's our
Oh,
prize pick
yeah.
segment here. So we're gonna go over to the CS:GO tab. We got some amazing plays right now. A lot of plays over here on Prize Picks again. Prize Picks are sponsor of our podcast. Talk to me. We have ignoring this stuff up here because that's already playing. What are you thinking of? Give me 3 Prize Pick plays.
Scroll down.
For those that are unaware, I share my screen so Dan can see what you guys are seeing.
I mean, I always, for some reason, I always gravitate towards overs. So I would say Sterling over 31.5.
Got it.
Um, where's Crucial at? Keep going.
Crucial versus Isuba, 38.5. I think it's Isuba.
I'd go over on that one too. And
Got it.
then, oh god, Alien. I'll say towards the over.
Yeah, that one. Oh, really? Okay. That's interesting.
It seems like less of a gamble than the under on. I mean,
I gotcha.
yeah.
So these are just the ones as of now, right? Like, we don't have any Nip on here. We don't have any Fnatic on here yet. Prize Picks will be adding more of those. For me, my 3, I am going to go with, let's see. If you listen to this in time, Fessor under 39.5 on Fessor. I haven't watched much of him, but I think that's definitely interesting.
Seems high.
I want to be ballsy and say Nico under.
Yeah, I mean, it could be all low rounds.
I can't, as I can easily see him taking over the entire game too. So
Right.
I'm gonna skip that. That one might be a little bit more like trappy. I agree. I haven't seen any Sterling at all, but 31.5 just seems low.
Yeah,
Um,
he's good.
I'm gonna take the over on Elan 39.5. I will do that. And I'm taking the over on Frozen at 37.5. Dan, any last minute things you want to say? Or should we get out of here?
Uh, nope. I'm good. Good luck. Have fun.
Yep. Good luck. Have fun. Good luck on the slate. Dan and I will be back tomorrow night, or recording tomorrow night for another CS:GO Clutch podcast episode. For Dan, I'm Adam. Good luck on the slate. Latest, peoples.